All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for showing up to today's webinar. This is going to be a big one. Okay. So we're going to go over a lot of detail, a lot of the information here, a lot of useful things that you need to have and need to know today for your website. Okay. And so it's going to be a lot of information. We're going to dive right in here, not beat around the bush or anything. We're going to go ahead and get started and dive right in. So, first of all, the title of this webinar is Your Website is a Showroom. And so that's what you need to view your website as. A lot of times, a lot of times your website is going to be the first introduction that a customer has to your business. Okay. And so most of the time they're not going to, most people are not going to just show up at your actual showroom without doing any research or any, looking at anything about your business or anything like that. And so we have to recognize that and understand that that your website should be there to capture the interest, build the trust, and be the essentially the first step in converting a customer. Okay, and so how are we going to do that? How can we do that? And so your website is a showroom. So what is the role of your website? We kind of just talked about this, but your website is more than just a digital business card, especially for home remodelers. This is going to be super, super crucial. Okay. So, when it comes to Google, for example, if you are if you're a landscaper or an electrician, a plumber, someone who does projects quickly, lots of leads, emergency services, things like that, tree removal, things like that. Your website's not going to be as important, okay? Because on Google, if your business shows up at the top of Google, chances are most people are going to are going to click on it, right? They don't need to look at your website. They have an emergency situation, okay? And so with remodeling, though, that's not really the case. Most people are not going to just select the first business in the list and then give them a call. Okay, well, they might, but there's going to be more research involved. Okay, and so I'm sure and most people, most remodeling contractors have had those situations where they're in a conversation, ultimately a sales conversation with a customer that could last for months at a time or even years, right? You see the same person over and over before they pull the trigger. And so everything on your website has to be dialed in. Okay. And so your first impressions build the trust or they drive people away immediately. Okay. You only have 5 to 15 seconds to grab someone's attention when they come to your website. All right. Around 5 to 15 seconds. That's it. And so what we have to do is make sure that we capture their attention, keep them on your website for as long as possible. And so how are we going to do that? We're going to talk about that today. So today's homeowners, they will do their research before moving forward or even before picking up the phone, okay, to call you. And so we have to just have to make our website as good, as clean, as professional as possible. So that way people feel comfortable. They see our results. They see how professional and clean our website is, and that reflects your business. And so let's jump right in. So why should you so first of all, having a website is great, and that's awesome. Everyone needs a website. And if you have a good website, then that's even better. But where does it fall in a grand scale? Okay, where does your website fall on a bigger scale? Well, it falls mainly in your authority building. Okay, so and your lead generation. And so, whenever you're building your authority, your website is what's displaying your authority. It is your main authority, main form of display for your authority. Okay. And so same goes for the lead generation. Your people come into your people come into your website and they become leads most likely, right? And that's the goal. But really your website is there for building that authority. And so, but you need to have each one of these pieces, and each one of these pieces work together in order to create or to create the most known remodeler here. So your website falls perfectly into that. So, continuing on here. So, why listen to me? What is why should you listen to me? Well, so I am the owner of a marketing agency called Remodel Reach Marketing. My name is Brooks Burnett. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I often get ahead of myself there. But so I'm the owner of a marketing agency. We do remodeling, or we do marketing only for home remodeling contractors. We're members of some of the nation's top remodeling associations, and so we've been doing marketing for about 7 years now. So let's dive in. So what are some of the common reasons why a website fails, okay, or fails to do some of the things that we've mentioned? It's not like your website is going down or a website isn't showing. That's a different issue. That's a technical issue. But if a website isn't converting people, there's a few reasons why that is. Number one, a reason might be that someone is not that people aren't able to find your website. Okay, so you don't have enough people going to it for them then, excuse me, to become leads. So that's the first reason. Getting away from that, assuming that we have a lot of leads coming in, assuming that we have some ads dialed in and some our SEO is dialed in, you're getting referrals and things like that. Assuming that, what are some of the reasons why a website might fail? Outdated or just downright ugly designs. Okay. So that's a main reason. It makes you look less professional. It's hard on the eyes. That's a true statement. Sometimes a site can genuinely be difficult to look at, right? If it has if it has ugly colors and it's not updated, things like that. And so two, oops, excuse me. So, lack of trust builders. Okay, so not displaying any reviews, no differentiators, no awards that you've won over the years, just not showing people that you know what you're talking about. Okay, so that kind of plays right into the outdated design. And so no clear conversion path. And so this is another big one that we're going to talk about a little bit more in depth later. But so what are those next steps? You have to think of it as your website is a tool. Your you have to give your customers the right tools to become your customers. Okay. And so so like for example, if there is a clear call to action button big displayed in the middle of the page, that is a tool to help them become a customer. If there is a chat widget in the bottom corner, right? A chat widget that, pops up and you can chat with your customers, that is a tool to help them become a customer. So we're just giving them the right tools in order to become customers. So no clear conversion path. So what do the right websites include? And so the right websites include a clear headline that communicates what exactly your business is, what you do quickly. Okay, so right when someone comes to your website, telling them who you are and what you do immediately. And so strong visuals, good quality pictures. Okay, if you don't have any good quality pictures, if you're just taking pictures with your iPhone, then like seriously, get a competent photographer to take some pictures. Okay, it will change your whole outlook and it will change the whole look and feel of your website. Okay, and at the end of the day, you're a remodeler, so you know you want your you want your pictures and videos to do well. So trust building elements. We already talked about this and clear, easy to find um, calls to action. So buttons. What do we do? What's the next step? Okay. So clear headline, strong visuals. In other words, clear videos, clear pictures, trust building elements, and calls to action. So going back to this idea that your website is a showroom, what do you need to show your customers, or what is the experience rather when someone comes to your actual showroom? What is the experience? What do you want them to feel? What do you want them to do? And so think of your website as the same thing, okay? But they're coming into your website digitally. And it might even be a little bit more important because you're going to have way more people come into your website for the first time rather than walking into your showroom for the first time. And so you're going to have a lot more people coming to your website. So it really needs to be dialed in. Your website should replicate the same experience as your showroom. Very professional, showing, greeting them, showing examples, maybe showing the materials that you use, the vendors that you use, and all those different things. It should guide and educate and convince your visitors to trust you. Okay. And so that's what we're trying to do with your website. We're showing your authority and we're building that trust. Okay. And so, what does a good website look like? Starting with your homepage. Your homepage is the most important page on your website. The reason being is because it's where most people go for just naturally on your website. They go to your homepage, but then your homepage is also a template or a table of contents of sorts for the rest of your website. So people need to be able to make a decision on whether or not they're going to move forward with your business only based on your homepage. That is the kind of info that you need to have on your homepage, right? So if you go to your homepage right now and it's just a slideshow of pictures, is that enough information to get your visitors to make that decision right then and there? Probably not, okay? And so just in your header section, you need to have a bold headline with a clear photo, again, explaining who exactly you are and what you do. Okay? Because again, keep in mind, we only have about 5 to 15 seconds to grab someone's attention. And so we need to clearly express who we are, what we do, and what the next steps are. Okay? We'll take a look at some examples here shortly. So then there needs to also be a portfolio section on your homepage. Again, keep in mind, we're trying to give them enough information on your homepage, just your homepage, to get them to make that step, to make that first step. We don't want them to have to dig for anything. Like, oh, where's the services? Oh, where do they serve again? I don't know. Do they serve my area? I'm not really sure. I can't find it anywhere. We don't want them doing that. We don't want any confusion at all. We want it extremely clear about your services and your business. Okay. So anyway, back to portfolio. So, highlighting your best high quality pictures on the front page. Okay. You can have a larger gallery somewhere else on the site, right? You can have that, but your homepage there needs to be many galleries. There needs to be more pictures of all of your services. Okay. All of them. At least one, right? At least one picture. And so we'll take a look at some examples of this here shortly. Testimonial section. This can be anything as simple as a section showcasing your Google reviews or video testimonials or written testimonials, just any type of testimonial section needs to be on the homepage. Okay. Because again, we're trying to build trust. We're trying to build that authority and show people, hey, we are the best selection, to come and do your kitchen, to come and do your bathroom. And so building that trust, you do that through partially through your reviews, right? And so then your call to action, again, this is another common theme that we've seen all throughout this presentation so far, is that, your call to action needs to be clear. It needs to be there. Whether you want to people to call you, send you an email, or submit a form, or follow you on Facebook, whatever it is you want people to do, it needs to be clear. It needs to be present, okay? And we'll take a look again at some of these examples here shortly. So, going off that same idea of trust, how can we use your website to build trust? After all, they're not walking into your showroom. You can't give them a firm handshake, like you would in your showroom. So, how do you build that trust on your website? Well, you do the exact same things, maybe not the exact, but you do the same things that you would do for your showroom. So, you have a welcome video on your site. Okay. So if any of you who are watching this have seen any of my previous webinars, I'm a huge, huge fan of videos. That is that is my thing. I love and always recommend videos. So having a welcome video on the homepage of your site where you yourself as the owner, you are talking directly to your customer. You're saying, hey, this is who I am. This is what we do. This is my history. We'd love to, we'd love to do your next project, whatever. You just be yourself. And but that video is present at the top quickly on your website to get in front of people. Okay. So maybe something like team introductions. Okay. So over here, I kind of put the wrong pictures here, but so like this is a screenshot of one of our clients here. They shot videos of their team, showcasing, hey, these are the people who are going to come out to your property, to your home, to shoot these videos, or not shoot the videos, but to do your remodel. Okay, and so it doesn't have to be something like that. It doesn't have to be as elaborate as a video of each person. It could be just a team picture, a picture of all of your high level, your designer, your project managers, your estimator, all of the top people in your company. It doesn't have to be every single individual person, but it can be. It's up to you and what you would like. So then testimonials, okay? So client testimonials, the videos, the Google reviews, other forms of any type of testimonial, before and afters, that's a small testimonial. So these trust builders, these things will really help you to set yourself apart from your competitors. Okay. So if you have all of these things here, these will really, really help you to, use your website as a tool to gather more leads. Okay. So I hope this is making sense so far here. And so let's talk about calls to action here really quickly. So again, a call to action is just something, it's you telling your visitor to do something. It doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's an article and it says read more, the button says learn more, read more, and click on it, that's a call to action. You're calling them to read more. Okay. So, but whatever it is, it needs to be clear. So think of it this way. There's a rule in web design that I call the one room rule or the room rule. I haven't thought of a better name for it. But if you were to put your computer screen against a wall and then you went to the opposite side of the room and put your back against that wall and you looked at your computer screen, would you be able to tell from that distance what the next step is, what button you should press is. If the answer is no, then you have a problem. Someone who's coming into your site who's never heard of your company before, who's only going to stay for 5 seconds, they're not going to be able to find it either. Okay. And so a strong call to action needs to be present, repeated multiple times. Okay, repeated multiple times. And so that way you just never know when someone is going to be ready, right? They may scroll down all the way to the bottom of your page and then say, "Oh, well, I don't see their phone number. I don't see where to call them," even though it was at the top. So you put it at the bottom too. You just never know when someone's going to be ready to take that next step. And so I've talked about calls to action a lot. Pretty simple concept to understand here. All right. So let's take a look at some examples. Hopefully this won't mess me up here. Um, let's uh let's get out of here. So let's see if my okay, camera is still operating. Zoom is not my friend most of the time. Okay, so here is a website, an example of what a good website looks like for a remodeling contractor. What do we have when we come to the website when I refresh the page? We see good, high quality pictures. Okay, the name of the business, the name of the business is present, phone number present, clear menu is present, good quality pictures, call to action right at the beginning. So then as we scroll, we see the owner himself again welcoming people to the business. Okay, this is more in the style of a question and answer. So there's many different ways to go about your video, but that is a perfect way to show people just who you are and just start building that trust as quickly as possible. Okay? If you've never shot videos before, now's the time. Okay, there's really no way around it. If you want to take your website to the next level, for lack of a better term, then video is your friend. Okay, then videos is the way to do that. And so, as we continue scrolling, you can see here that these sections of the site are clearly laid out. Okay, so we've got their services listed out with pictures and examples of each. Okay, we've got bathroom, got a kitchen, got a patio, basements, exteriors, porches. So a clear, different picture for every single service. Now, keep in mind here too, as we scroll, we've got before and afters. This is a little interactive thing. You can have it if you want. Again, it's there's thousands of ways that you can design a website. Okay. So don't feel like it has to be all the same here. But so do you think we've got their different locations here? So do you think someone, if they came to this website and they're looking for a bathroom remodel, or let's just say bathroom remodel, if they're looking for a bathroom remodel, do you think they have enough information on this website, on this home page here, to make a decision on whether or not they're going to reach out or not? This isn't making a decision to become a paying customer yet. We're just trying to get them to take the next step. Do you think that this website gives enough information for them to do that? Yes. Okay. Yes, it does. And so we've got the reviews listed out. We've got their service areas, got calls to action that are color matched to their logo everywhere. And so this is just one way to build a website, okay, or to lay out a website. Here's another one. Okay, so this one is a little bit more on the high end. Okay, so a higher end remodeling company doing, $500,000 projects in some cases to even $1 million projects. And so we want to push those projects. We want to show these projects, right? And so this is a extremely picture forward. We still have the presence of the owner doing an intro video. He's still present. And so, but the pictures for this website are doing the talking. Okay, so yes, we've got a gallery, and yes, we still have some content here, explaining a little bit about the business. We've got some awards being displayed, and so, but very, very picture forward, right? And so, again, if I'm looking for, let's say, a deck construct, or this wouldn't be a deck really. This would be more like a home edition, right? Like a covered porch edition. If I'm looking for that, if I'm someone looking for that service, would this website be enough for me to make that decision? Yes. Okay. Yes. Or would this homepage rather be enough? Yes, because I'm seeing all of the different services. I'm learning about the business owner. I'm looking at examples. I'm reading the content, seeing the testimonials, uh, looking at the awards that they've won, and so no one has to go anywhere else on the site. Like they can, if they want some more info here, right? If they want to learn about their services and take a look at their gallery and all that good stuff, then they can, but they don't have to because this website does it all for them. Okay. Or does this homepage rather does it all. And so that's kind of the goal. We're trying to use our website like our showroom. When someone comes into your showroom, we want them to, you know, realize that we are the experts, right? Realize that your company is the best option. And so similar to your website, that's what we want to do. We want to make them feel welcome, want to make them feel like we're familiar with them or we gain familiarity with them. And that's it. It's really as simple as that. Okay. And so I hope that was let's see. So let's see. That should be it for this webinar here. And so so what now? What now? So now you can take this information and audit your own site. Take a look at what your website needs to improve. Okay, where are you lacking? Is there calls to action everywhere? Are your pictures not high quality? What are 3 to 5 areas that you could improve upon? Do you not have any testimonials on your website or on the front page at least? And so, do you need to start doing videos? Probably. And so, if you need help, then you can reach out to us so we can talk about your website and areas where we can fix it. Okay. And so, but that is it. And so if you would like to learn more, if you would like some help with your website or maybe a website redesign, then you can scan the QR code here and excuse me, and schedule a time to meet with me, and I'd be happy to assist you with anything that you need there. And so, if you need help or if you have any questions at all about any type of marketing, anything, advertising, social media, anything like that. And so I hope this was valuable to you. And so again, my name is Brooks Burnett, owner of Remodel Reach Marketing. And so if you need help with this, again, please just reach out to me. And so if you are in the chat here, it is Q&A time for everyone else. We will see you next time. So thank you very much and have a great rest of your day. Bye.